right, let's talk about what kills, I said kills, your business success. You ready? Here we go. Hey Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Lago here again, and in this video I want to talk to you about 3 things that will kill your business success. That's right, 3 things that will absolutely kill your business success, and oftentimes even before you can even get things off the ground. I'm talking about before you can get up and fully running. These things will absolutely deal death to your business if you're not careful. And so with that said, I want to go ahead and identify what they are, or you can also, more importantly, not only figure out ways to stop it, but don't fall into the trap of these 3 things in and of themselves. Now, I'm hopeful that this is helpful to you, so let's dive right in without any wasted time. What are the 3 things that will absolutely kill your business success even before you get started? Let's jump right into it right now. Number 1 is analysis paralysis, okay? Analysis paralysis. Now, if you've never heard of this, and you'd be under a rock if you never have, but it's a very real thing. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's basically where you're paralyzed from doing what you know you need to do or what you know you should do simply because you are too busy analyzing everything, okay? This is also very similar to the whole getting ready to get ready situation, wherein you are trying to figure everything out, you're trying to understand everything, every little step, every little nuance, and before you even take action. And I'm telling you that this right here is probably the single most detrimental thing that I see with every single entrepreneur in any business model. This is it right here, right? It's the what if scenario situation, right? It's basically, so well, what if this happens and what if this happens, right? What if I try to do this and this happens? Or what if I speak to the customer and they say this, right? What if this happens? And honestly, when you go through this type of thinking, the sky really is the limit, and not in a good way, right? There is no end in sight if you allow yourself to go down this path and you can't figure things out. So I'm gonna caution you, first and foremost, do not fall into this trap. It is not about understanding everything. And I don't fault you for that, but that's not what it's about. You will never fully understand everything, right? And as humans, we wanna go ahead and do that. And as people with maybe more of an analytical brain than others, then you really want to do this. Okay? And I think a lot of it comes from fear, right? Fear of failure or whatever have you. A fear, healthy fear sometimes too, is what stems this, right? Basically, if you're afraid to mess up or you're afraid you won't have the answer, right? You want to understand everything, right? You're afraid of what might happen if you don't have the solution on hand. And the reality is, as an entrepreneur, that's just the name of the game, right? You will never fully understand everything. And the moment that you think you do, the world, the universe, life, you know what I mean, whatever you want to call it, has a way of throwing itself at you and throwing a curveball at you and throwing a monkey wrench, so to speak, in your situation. So you've got to figure things out. That again is the nature of the entrepreneur. And so what I would recommend is do not get caught in analysis paralysis, but rather take action and be willing to deal with things as they come. And you're going to find that if you have this skill, that's actually going to be very, very healthy for you. Okay, so don't have a fear of the unknown. The unknown is going to come. You can prepare as best you can. I get all that. Okay, but in terms of getting ready and understanding things, you really just need to know enough to be dangerous. Now, don't go out there and bet the farm, right? Don't go out there and do something stupid. Just know that as you progress, things will come up. You won't have an understanding for it at first, but you got to be willing to figure it out. And as long as you have the resources, or more importantly, are resourceful, and you have the courage and you have the know-how, and you don't, fold under pressure, you find ways to find people, find answers, resources that can help you. I'm telling you what, you'll have no problem ultimately in your business life. So number 1 is analysis paralysis. Get past it, get through it, it's gonna be okay. Number 2, shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome, okay? Now let me go ahead and say that at this point, along with the others that I'm mentioning here, I'm guilty of all of them, okay? And you're gonna find that most successful entrepreneurs definitely were at one time, and especially when it comes to this point right here. Shiny object syndrome is one of those things that will absolutely deal death to your entrepreneurial career, your business, long before you get started. And the reason why is in the name, right? Shiny object. You are too busy chasing shiny objects. It seems like, once you go ahead and start to get roots down in one particular business, all of a sudden there's this new business popping up, right? This new business opportunity, a new business idea, a new business model, folks trying to recruit you into their downline. You know what I mean? It always happens this way, okay? Don't be surprised when it happens to you if it already hasn't, okay? Because it's going to. I can almost guarantee you that. Shiny object syndrome exists in so many different ways. It's not not even funny. I mentioned to you business opportunities, but it's just not that. Sometimes it's people, right? There's a new person that you want to connect with, that you want to learn from. There's a new mentor that you want to go ahead and align with, right? I mean, the reality is it's just endless when you think about this thing. So don't get caught up in shiny object syndrome, all right? The best thing you can do to combat that is really to dig down and commit to the process of what you're currently doing. If you know that you want to go ahead and pursue this course of action, this business model, this business opportunity, this organization, what have you, then stay with it. Everything else is going to take a back seat, okay? And you're going to have to hard pass on all of it, at least at first, okay? Don't get me wrong. The reason I threw that in there is because I don't want people to get the mistaken idea that I'm telling you that you have to do one thing for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that at all. Every single successful person that I know of is definitely diversified, myself included, okay? I've got active businesses, I've got passive business models. There's also real estate and other things, crypto investing, whatever you want to call it, but don't try to do everything all at once, all right? And there's a few reasons for it. Number one is just practically speaking, if you're, spread too thin, how can you effectively get good at anything, right? That's just reality. The other thing about it is this: a lot of the times when it comes to building businesses, you need money and you need capital to do that, right? And if you're spreading yourself too thin, chasing every little thing under the sun, then how can you substantially put the investment that you need into something to see a return on it and see it grow? It just doesn't make sense, right? So don't do that. On top of that, it's just a really bad habit, okay? If you start trying to do everything, then you will ultimately achieve nothing, right? And you think about that, what that means, okay? That's the cold, hard truth of the matter. So don't become one of those who chases shiny objects, right? And believe me, when you start your entrepreneurial journey, it's not going to take long for some distraction to pop up, for some shiny object, as it were, to pop up. For my real estate investors, it's which technique, right? Is it short term? Is it fix and flip? Is it rehabbing? Is it lease options? Is it creative finance, right? With my online business people, it's which business opportunity, right? The quickest way to do your downline. For my investing people, it's it's always is it this investment, or is this crypto, or is it this stock? You get the idea, okay? Shiny object syndrome. Now, don't do that, all right? Wait to diversify. Get good at one thing and then chase something else or start learning something else. But you got to get good at one thing. Get so good at it that it pays you, and it pays you regularly. Does that make sense? Get so good at something that it now serves you. And at that point, if you wish, you can take some of those earnings, take some of the time, take some of the success, take some of the time that it buys you, and focus it into something else, and thereby slowly learning and growing your assets like you should. All right, shiny object syndrome, stay away from it. Number 3, and finally, perfectionism, okay? Perfectionism. And it doesn't sound like much at first, right? Well, perfectionism, that doesn't really sound like what I want to do. I just want to build a little business. Okay, that makes sense. But at one point or another, every single successful entrepreneur I know is a perfectionist on some level, right? They want to get so good at something that they don't want to put out anything less than the high quality that they want their name and brand to be associated with. And you know what? I don't fault that at all. I think there's something to be said about that. I'm that way. I'm obsessed with my name and my reputation. I don't want anything that I do to reflect anything low quality, right? I don't want my name to be in the mouth of the dogs, as they say, which is basically another thing of, again, I don't want anything said about me to be associated that is with anything that is scammy, that is low quality, that is sketch or suspect. I don't want to do obviously anything that is illegal, but I don't want to be associated with anything that is immoral or unethical as well, right? And so you got those hardcore values that drive this, but ultimately there's a lot of people out there who are perfectionists and they don't want anything less than perfect out there with their name on it. I get all that, but the reality is you'll never really be perfect, right? We're never going to be perfect at one thing. And the truth of the matter is especially as it applies to the online business models, marketing, the concept of it in and of itself really suggests testing. By nature, that's what it is. It is testing to see what works and testing to see what converts, right? That's what marketing is anyway, all right? It's the changing of people's minds in order to make decisions, buying decisions at that, and testing to see what works best in that process. And so by its own nature, you can't really be a perfectionist. You can always be striving to get better, but don't get to the point where if something doesn't look the way you want to just right or sound to just right, that it's not worth putting out there. There's a lot of people who lose a lot of money and lose a lot of time because they didn't put something out there and deploy something because they're wanting it to be just right. And things will never be just right. I cannot tell you how many clients, friends, mentorship students that I've been on the horn with, and they always ask me, Jason, what can I do to fix this? What can I do to make it better? And I always ask them, well, I don't know. Have you tested it yet? Have you deployed it yet? Have you sent it out there and seen what kind of response it gets yet? And you would be absolutely astonished with how many of them come back with, no, I wanted to get it right first. And I'm like, you can't get it right unless you have something to go off of. You can't improve upon what's not tested, right? So deploy it. Just send the stinking email. Just build the funnel. Just deploy the podcast. Just send the, you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and just make it happen already. And then once it's out there and you see what it does, you can analyze things like the reports and the analytics associated to it. And now all of a sudden you have something that you can build off of. Now you have something that you can improve upon, okay? So don't let perfectionism get in the way of progress or profit. There you have it, my friends. Listen, I hope this was helpful to you. Quick and dirty as per usual. But again, I hope that there was a lot of value here that you found specifically applying to you and your business models, because I know they will if you listen closely. Okay, do not fall into any one of these 3 traps, all right? Now you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe though. That's most important, and hit the notification bell as well. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. On top of that, if you haven't had a chance yet, click on the link in the description box. It is the greatest online home study course to show you what to do to build an online business from scratch, go from zero, no experience, to highly profitable, wildly successful online business, even if you tried everything before and failed, even if you've never made anything stick in your life. I can show you what to do. Watch over my shoulder as we get this done. I'd be happy to show it to you. All right, that's it, my friends. Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you later. Take care.